The new Rizos Stronghold Gel did not work for me the first time I tried it. My hair was so frizzy, dry, and brittle. But it's super hyped right now, so we're giving it another chance. I'm trying it in a different way while I'm answering your questions, all about how to tell if your hair is wavy versus curly, what to do if you feel like your curl pattern is changing, and what some of the causes could be of your curl pattern loosening. Plus, I'm giving a few life updates while we get ready together. My name is Gina, and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk all things naturally curly. I love simplifying things and really helping you problem solve with your curls. And I'm also a curl coach who helps clients test out products, find the right routine for them, and troubleshoot, which is what we're going to do here today when it comes to this Stronghold Gel that did not go over well. So let's get started. I just finished washing my hair in the shower, and I'm going to do some skincare. I used these exfoliating pads that I've been testing out from Amazon. So it's by the Medicube brand. It's called the Zero Pore Pad with AHA, BHA. I'm using it to see if I can get rid of some of the dark spots that I have. Then I also top it off with a sunscreen. So I just put this on from Dime. It is their Wonder Screen. It's my favorite. I use it all the time. It's basically a tinted SPF and a moisturizer. So I only do those 2 steps in the morning. I already have that on my face. It just helps to even everything out. But for my shampoo and conditioner, I actually used the Rizos Curls Hydrating Shampoo and then the Deep Conditioner. So I just have sample sizes of these. I believe I got these in a Curls Monthly subscription box. That's where you get travel size curly hair products to test them. I do have a code, I believe, for Curls Monthly or a link. I can put it down below for you. But this is the hydrating shampoo, which normally I wouldn't go with something this moisturizing, but I wanted to make sure that I use all Reese's products for this test since I'm going to be testing the gel again. But this has shea butter and moringa oil, which typically to me sounds like a shampoo that's not cleansing enough, but it actually gave me a pretty good cleanse, but it does definitely leave behind some moisturizing ingredients on your hair. Then I used the deep conditioner because I didn't have a regular conditioner. Normally, I don't recommend doing a hydrating shampoo and a deep conditioner. That's typically too much moisture. But again, I didn't have a regular conditioner. So what I did is just use a small amount, and then I made sure to rinse it out fully, spend some time actually fully rinsing it out. And I didn't leave it on too long. This is the Living Proof Triple Bond Complex. This serves as a heat protectant and a bond building treatment. I just need to dampen my hair. So you only need 1 to 2 pumps of this. So I'm just doing 2 pumps like that. I'm going to apply it mainly to my ends where I need it, then spread it around the rest of my hair. So this is a treatment that you're supposed to leave on for 10 minutes. You don't rinse it out though, but you do have to let it sit for 10 minutes before you apply your other styling products. I know I'm going to have to re-wet my hair anyways to apply my stylers. Then I'm just going to brush that through with this Curl Keeper Flexi brush. This is perfect for distributing product because it's really flexible. I'm just going to put it up in a hair clip so that way it's out of my face for when I do my makeup. Y'all want to see a little behind the scenes. These are products that I recently pulled out of my shower that I need to transfer to my office closet where I keep all of my products. So just a little rapid fire review. This product I did not like at all. These 2 from Not Your Mother's, they were okay, just a little bit too moisturizing for me. Then the Dove Bond Strength, I did really like these. Not something that I'm going to use all the time, probably. InnerSense Pure Harmony Hair Bath and Daily Conditioner. I do really like these. I just prefer the Clarity line better. So the Clarity lines in my shower, these are going back on the shelf. Same with the Hydrating Cream Hair Bath. A little too moisturizing for me, but still a good option. Same with the Just Curl Clarifying Shampoo. It's not as strong as some of my others. It's still a good option if you want something that is fragrance-free. I wanted to talk about how it went the last time I tested the Rizos Stronghold Gel, or the first time that I tested it. But I also wanted to show you just a couple of new additions to my makeup routine. So I've been using this new Tarte Colored Clay CC Under Eye Corrector. I just have some dark circles, and it does pretty well. And it also has good coverage as well. So I can link this below, as well as all of the other products that I usually use. So I already have my Tarte foundation on. I use like a CC cream, and then I'm just doing the dark spot corrector. So look at the difference that makes. Isn't that crazy? I don't even feel like I need another concealer on top. So the first time that I tested the Rizos Stronghold Gel was actually on my last wash day, and I used it by itself because when I'm testing out a new gel, I really want to see what the hold level is, and anything that's on your hair underneath of your gel, including your shampoo and conditioner sometimes, it can affect the hold level. So I wanted to make sure that I used a pretty strong shampoo, didn't use a heavy conditioner, and then I didn't use any leave-in or curl cream. So that way I could really see what the results would be. My hair dried with a pretty strong cast. It definitely did have a good hold to it after I diffused. Now I'm just going in with the Tarte Creaseless Setting Powder, which comes with this little puff, which is really nice. So my hair dried with a really strong cast, but after I broke the cast, I definitely saw quite a bit of frizz, and to me, it looked like dry frizz. My hair also felt really dry. If your hair feels very brittle, then it's usually dry. If it feels soft and fluffy, then that's usually lack of hold. Frizz can be apparent in both of those situations. But I definitely had both going on. I could tell that it wasn't giving me the best long-lasting hold, especially throughout the day. It just seemed to get even frizzier, but it also felt very dry and brittle. I didn't have as much elasticity to my hair, and I also felt like it was tangling very easy. And when I would touch my hair, it would feel very brittle feeling. So I like to have more of a softer feel in my hair. Some of my favorite gels, like the Weedad Advanced Climate Control Stronger Hold Gel, gives me a very soft feeling, which is what I prefer in my hair. Now I'm just setting up my face with this Tarte powder, but I wanted to try the gel again because some of you don't need much moisture at all in your routine. I wanted to also show you this new brand I've been testing out called Crunchy. These are very clean ingredients. So I got the Crunchy eyeliner. I like using brown for eyeliner. I will say it's not the creamiest eyeliner. It feels a little dry at first, but once I've used it more, it's softened up a bit, but it's definitely long lasting. It is a waterproof eyeliner. And then I also do just the outer third of the top and just smudge it in the lash line. And then I do a very soft wing. So I just flick it out like that, nothing dramatic or anything. And pencil keeps everything really soft. But I wanted to also just give you all a couple of updates while I finish my makeup. So if you have been considering getting into my group coaching program, it's actually going to reopen for enrollment the first week of June for our summer program. So it's basically an ongoing membership. You do have options to stay in it for the full year, but enrollment opens each quarter. The last winter session I did, I had over half the people decide to stay for annual, which is cool because now we're not rushed. We have plenty of time to keep tweaking our routines. So it's really been the best way to make true transformation in your hair because we have time. We have time for testing and feedback. It's not like just meeting with me one time and then you're on your own from there. You have me for that ongoing support. So that's been the main advantage. And I've truly seen transformations in people because they're not only learning like as a course. I put everything that I know into those slide decks that you get every single week from me, and you get to have access to those during the membership. So you have time to learn at your own pace. But then you also get that coaching support from me. We are currently halfway through the spring program, and I've already seen such great transformations from my clients. So I've just been truly enjoying it, and I would love to have you if you're struggling with your hair or if you're tired of trying to watch everything and learn everything on your own. I know with online free content, it can be a little bit overwhelming. You have to do the heavy lifting yourself, whereas in a membership format, the information is just handed to you, which is really nice. And people find that's a way to fast track their journey. I'm getting ready to prep for the next round of enrollment, which will be in June. I'm also going on vacation in June, which is really exciting. I'm going somewhere tropical. So if you have any video requests for things that you might want to see about traveling with curls, let me know down below. I've done a few videos on that in the past, just how I pack for my curly hair, some of the travel essentials that I take. So it'll pretty much stay the same. So those are on my channel if you're interested, but I will definitely be in a humid environment. And then when we get back from vacation, I'm actually getting a new puppy, which is so exciting. So I have Chloe, a miniature dachshund. If you don't follow me on Instagram, then you might not know that. Sometimes I share bits of her there, but she is about 6 years old now. So we want to get her a sibling. If you've been following me for a while, then you know that I had Holly, which is my beagle. She's been on my channel before, ever since I was in college even. Some of my old videos from college, she was in the background of my videos, and we just lost Holly last summer, which was really sad and hard for me to go through. But she was 15, and so we had a lot of long years with her, which was amazing. So Chloe and Holly were buddies. Chloe's been an only dog since last July, and so we obviously want to get her a buddy. I really don't want to have to take care of a puppy again. I've been through that stage, but Chloe really needs to have a friend, so I'm really excited about that. So I finished my mascara, and I just went back over the wing a little bit with that Crunchy eyeliner. But I also wanted to show you the other Crunchy product that I tried out. It's their Everlast Lip Crayon. This is in the shade Rosewood, so it's like a rosy brown mauve color. This is actually darker than I anticipated, or a little bit more brown than I thought, so I don't love the color that I got, but I really like the formula. It's basically like a creamier lip pencil, and you can use it as a lip liner or as like an all over lip color, but I'm just using it today as a lip liner. And then I'm going to go over top with a tinted balm. So I'm just using my e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shines. I use these all the time. This is in the shade Giddy, which is basically a bright coral orange color. That's the final makeup look. I'm going to have everything linked down below. This is basically my everyday makeup. But we gotta get into this hair because it's already starting to dry. As you can see, my hair is basically dry now, so I'm definitely going to have to mist it down with some water. But I wanted to go ahead and get into the Q&A part of this video while we apply our products. One of the questions that was submitted on Instagram said, how can you tell if your hair is wavy or curly when you're still transitioning from damage? And I would just say to that, to not get hung up on trying to figure out what your exact hair type is or your hair pattern, whether if it's wavy or curly. It really doesn't matter that much, other than maybe certain styling techniques only work for wavy versus curly. So that's what I shared in the wavy versus curly styling video that I did, about how a lot of people with wavy hair find that brush styling is just not worth their time because there's not really a spiral there, so it can just straighten out waves. But there's definitely people who have wavy hair and can still brush style. So really, you just have to test and experiment and see what works for you and what's not worth your time. But when it comes to choosing your products and choosing your routine and building that out, you really have to know your hair's texture, which is the width of your individual hair strand. That is way more important to understand. And you don't even have to know it exactly, just be able to tell if your hair gets weighed down easily from too much moisture or if it can tolerate more moisture or conditioning. But if you do want to get a closer read on your actual hair type and you do want to learn more, especially when it comes to your hair's porosity, which can be a little bit more difficult to determine, that's where I recommend taking my curl quiz. I can link it for you down below if you haven't taken it yet. That will give you a better sense of your actual hair type. I still recommend following some of my best practices that I pretty much teach in all of my content, using stronger shampoos that aren't too moisturizing, getting maximum amount of hold out of your styling products. That way your hair lasts longer. And my clients seem to get the best results with following that practice regardless of their hair type. If you did have coarser hair, you would just need a little bit more moisture or maybe add deep conditioning. So don't overthink it. If you have some parts that are wavy and then other parts that are curlier, that could indicate that the rest of your hair will be curlier. But if you didn't already see the video I posted on how to manage different curl types or get more consistent curl patterns, I show you how to tweak those differences in your hair to get a more consistent look while you are transitioning. Before I apply the Rizos gel, I'm going in with the Rizos Curl Defining Cream. I have tested this out before. It's a medium to heavyweight cream. So it contains aloe, coconut oil, and shea. Coconut oil and shea butter are two ingredients that do tend to be heavy that I usually don't recommend for anyone with fine to medium textured hair. But as I mentioned, that gel really dried out my hair with using it by itself. The next step in testing is going to be to add this curl cream to get more moisture and see if that gives me a better balance of moisture and hold. The next question says, do I recommend apple cider vinegar rinses for clarifying on a budget? So you might have seen me do a video on that in the past, and honestly, that was before I knew much about hair, and that was the trend. Everyone was using apple cider vinegar to clarify their hair, but as I learned more about it, apple cider vinegar is actually not that effective as a clarifier. It can remove some buildup. It's not that effective at actually cleaning your hair, and in fact, apple cider vinegar is acidic, and so it has a similar pH to your hair's natural pH. And you actually need a little bit of a higher pH to actually clarify your hair. That's why shampoos and chelating shampoos for hard water have just slightly higher pH to actually get your hair clean. So it actually acts more like a conditioner where that lower pH actually helps to lower the hair's cuticle. It's not really harming your hair, but it might not be doing what you think that it's doing. So if you were on a budget, I recommend going with something like the Suave Daily Clarifying Shampoo. It's literally $3 and you can find it at grocery stores. It's very cheap. It's very strong. It actually dried out my hair pretty bad, but you could just use a pretty good deep conditioner afterward. But that's going to give you an effective cleanse and remove hard water buildup. But sometimes we do just need to strip our hair to get a reset and have a clean slate for styling, especially if you've been having issues. The only people I would not recommend that for is if you have color treated hair. It's probably too harsh for that. I'm actually going to brush that through as well. I'm going to be using my Tingle Teaser to style today. I want to get a true read on the gel, which is why I'm going with this brush today. It's just more of a middle of the road. You can get some clumps, but nothing too crazy. So now I'm going in with the Rizos Curls Strong Hold Gel. I need to apply it in sections with quite a bit of water because it's pretty thick. I'm going in with about a pea size amount, and I'm actually going to add a little bit of water. So this gel is a clear gel, but it has a little bit of an opaqueness to it. Just to give you an overview of what I can tell from the formula. And I actually did this in my group coaching membership. We did a whole lesson on decoding product ingredients, and I wanted to give an example of how I would determine if a gel might be right for me when shopping for a gel. We're not cosmetic chemists, so we don't always know how something's going to perform unless if we test it. Plus, we have to consider the entire formulation. It basically has water, which most curly hair products do, and then the second ingredient is polyquaternium 69. So this is usually a pretty strong hold polymer. Polymers help to give the hair hold, and they also protect from humidity. This is the same polyquat that is in the Curlsmith fragrance-free Stronghold Gel, or formerly the Shine Gel. The next ingredient is an emulsifier, and then you see an alcohol, which alcohol tends to typically be drying, but it's usually not an issue if it's paired with other conditioning ingredients. There's actually not any conditioning ingredients that I can spot in this gel, but there are quite a few humectants, which are also moisturizing. This gel only has 2 polymer ingredients that I was able to spot. It actually was drying in my hair. So I don't know if it's just because there wasn't enough conditioning ingredients for my hair type, but I definitely had the hold there on wash day, but I didn't have that long-lasting hold that I typically get from using gels that have multiple polymer ingredients. I will say my hair feels a little bit more moisturized since having that curl cream in, so that's good. The next question asked, does aloe vera in refreshing products make hair sticky? So yes, it's possible that aloe could make your hair feel sticky, but I actually don't think it's probably the aloe causing this effect, because I have found in general that refreshing sprays can make the hair sticky, just the nature of them. So I actually don't recommend using refreshing sprays because they might not be compatible with the products that are already in your hair. It's better to just refresh with water if you can just use water. If you used a good stronghold gel, you should be able to reactivate it with just some water, so that way you're not layering on lots of extra products. Or you could just use a little bit of the same gel used on wash day mixed with water, or a little bit of leave-in conditioner. If the products aren't compatible, it can cause this stickiness and this product buildup feeling, and it can also cause flakes in the hair. So I recommend just skipping that altogether. Try refreshing with the gel that's already in your hair. I'm just going to microplop, which is where I take my hair repair towel and I just gently scrunch my hair to soak up any excess water. I actually got quite a bit of frizz from doing that. Normally I don't get this much frizz, so I definitely need to go in with more gel. I'm just glazing it over the surface. Now I'm just diffusing with my Curlsmith Diffrizzion hair dryer, and I'm going to answer another question while I diffuse. The next one asks, what are some reasons for hair becoming less curly over time, and can you prevent it? Our hair's curl pattern is determined by our genetics and can be impacted by internal factors like our hormones or illnesses. For example, some people's hair pattern changes with pregnancy. So yes, it is possible for your hair pattern to change over time. I've actually done a full video on this topic where I deep dive into how this works and some common causes. And I also walk you through how much my hair pattern has changed over time. But generally speaking, as your hair gets healthier, your hair pattern will start to restore back to its natural curl pattern. External factors can also impact our curl pattern. So things like damage, which is technically a permanent change in our curl pattern that would actually have to be grown out to correct that. Your hair can also just appear looser if it has buildup on it. Buildup can be from hard water minerals or products that we use. If you're not properly clarifying on a regular basis, you can certainly get buildup, which will weigh your hair down, which will make it look looser. Your hair can also appear looser if it's weighed down from moisture overload, and to fix that, again, you would just clarify, and then you might need some protein in your routine to help restore more of your hair structure. So I recommend that regardless, especially if you are someone that does have some of that external damage to your hair, is working in protein ingredients in your products. You also might want to consider some bond repair treatments, especially if you have damage to your hair. Those can really bring out your curl patterns, but it might take quite a few washes to see a difference. I just got done diffusing, and that took me about 12 minutes, which is slightly longer than usual, I think because of that curl cream underneath. Now my hair has set for about 20 minutes, and I'm ready to scrunch out the cast. It's definitely softened up quite a bit, and I definitely have less of a cast than I did last time, but I do still have a cast right here. But our next question asks, when do you apply hairspray, wet or dry? So if you're using an aerosol hairspray, so think the Curlsmith hairspray that I usually recommend, that is mainly going to be used on dry hair. You can try a hairspray at this step, either before you scrunch out your cast or after. I usually recommend my clients trying one or the other. If you're using a water-based hairspray like the Rizos one, I actually picked that one up the other day when I bought the gel, so I haven't had a chance to try it because I didn't want to mix in too many new products here. But I will be trying that one soon, but that's a water-based hairspray, so some people like to use hairspray right before they diffuse on wet hair, or you could even spray that at the end of your routine. I've scrunched out the cast. I feel like this is night and day difference compared to my last day one. My hair feels moisturized. It's way less frizzy. I have a little bit less of a cast, but the curl clumps are still intact and it's not super frizzy. And I also did the strand test, which is the test that I usually do on my curls to determine how well a gel will hold up. If a gel isn't going to last, usually it will completely break up when I run my hands down it, but this is actually staying intact, whereas the last time I did this, it completely puffed up. Some curls are breaking up. I will just finger coil it dry without any product. And if the frizz can be tucked back in and the curls kind of grew back together, then that's usually a good sign. And that is happening, not the best compared to my other gels, but definitely better than last time. They are reforming a little bit, even though there is still some frizz there. Some of the gels I wanted to compare this to are the Curlsmith Fragrance-Free Stronghold Gel or the Curlsmith In-Shower Style Fixer, because those are similar thick gels that have polyquaternium 69. So I would say that this one is drier or less moisture compared to the Curlsmith Stronghold gel. Definitely less moisture than the In-Shower Style Fixer, which is too moisturizing for my hair type that has too many oils and butters in it. If I compare it to the Jessie Curl Spiralicious Gel, which is also a low moisture gel, this is definitely more drying than that one as well, and stronger hold probably than that one. Jessie Curl Gel has a little bit more moisture. I definitely need to see how it looks by the end of today and also into day 2 to give my true read on it. Also, if you're wondering how it compares to the Ouidad gel, there's not really a comparison there because that gel is very much different. It's very softening, very moisturizing, a high slip gel. Those formulas are too different to compare them. But I guess if you've tried the Ouidad gel and it was way too moisturizing and you need something with barely any moisture at all, that's where you would go with something like this. It's now day 2 and I have not refreshed my hair and I'm really surprised. I was not expecting this at all. It's like a complete 180 from my last day 2 where my hair was feeling super brittle and dry when I didn't use the curl cream. But the addition of the curl cream was just perfect. So I got a good balance of moisture and hold. It's unfortunate that the gel is that drying by itself because I do love using gels alone. I don't really have to refresh this at all. I have a little bit of normal frizz in this back section right here and then a little bit on top. My shine is a lot better this time too compared to last time. My hair was really dull and just looked very dry. It has much more vibrancy to it this time. I'm definitely impressed and I like this combo. I'm so glad I got it to work for me. I hope you enjoyed this style of video. If you're looking for more personalized, ongoing support with your curls, then I would love to have you for my next group coaching program that starts the first week of June. I'm going to have the link down below for that waitlist if you want to go ahead and get on it. So that way you are the first to hear about it when doors open. If you have wavy hair or looser curls and you're still looking for more help, more product recommendations, styling tips, then you can check out my new series on my channel all about how to care for waved and loose curls. I will have it linked for you right here. If you didn't already catch the recent one, we talked about wash day mistakes, so shampooing and conditioning incorrectly that could totally be impacting the hold and longevity of your waves and curls. So I will talk to you over there. Bye, everyone.